John's the chair of the Centennial Park and Moore Park Trust. John was also a councillor in the last term on Wallara Council, so thanks, John.
Thanks, David, and thanks for that welcome, and to everybody that's come today, it's greatly appreciated. This is a very serious issue, and you've heard some of the introductory remarks by our local politicians, but this is really a grassroots matter that impacts not only the residents of this area, but certainly the residents of Sydney in general, and the issue at the forefront of this debate, in fact, affects everyone everywhere when we're talking about public parkland. So it's not just a local issue, it's a major issue. The one thing I do want to say, though, is let's not get distracted by the peripheral issues that are going around at the moment. This is not a turf war between trusts. This is not a battle about who may or may not be able to administer lands better than anybody else. Some of the comments that are being dished out by the chairman of the SCG Trust are just atrocious at the present time. There is one central issue here, and that's the issue which is fundamental to this debate, and that is simply that lands held by the Trust, by the Centennial Park Trust, for the good of the people, and to be maintained for the use of the people, should not be handed over to anybody that had vested interest groups as its prime constituency. And that is in the fact. You know, the fact that we are here is a direct result of the Act of Parliament that created the Centennial Park Trust. When Neville Wran set this trust up, it was enshrined in legislation, and I know Clover Moore had a lot to do with this as well, where the trustees of the parkland are given a duty, and that is the word that is given, to consult with the public. The SCG Trust has no obligation to the public, no need to do any consultation in anything it chooses to do, both now and in the future. And I think that that is just a fact of life we should bear in mind. The SCG Trust is in fact given the power under its Act to redesign and develop lands under their control as it sees fit. In fact, the Acts as written today prevent the Centennial Parkland Trust from disposing of these lands, from mortgaging them, from doing anything with them, unless the Parliament in its entirety debates it and decides to do so. Under the SCG Act, they in fact have the power to dispose of lands only with concurrence of the Minister of the day. And with no power to consult, and without the protection of Parliament, whether or not you believe the current government is honourable or otherwise is not the point. That would open these lands up to development, redevelopment, disposal, mortgaging, anything at all that the people at the time would want to do. And that in itself is the prime reason why this should not happen. Whatever assurances are made by government or by the chairman of the trust, and I do note while I'm talking about the chairman of the SCG Trust, that he started his annual report last year in the magazine that was put out with this statement, and I know he does it all the time, he writes it all the time, and that is that the SCG Trust exists to serve the glory of sport. Now, that is a fact, and that is true, and I might say they do a pretty good job of it, and I'm complimentary of them for that. But do you really want to give public parklands to somebody who says their prime purpose is the glory of sport? You'll see around us there are parklands that have been transferred to use by elite sports. AFL, rugby, rugby league, all of it accommodated within an open parklands with multiple use. I fear not just for parking, but I fear that these areas around here particularly will also go to elite sport and will be stopped for use by the general public. The other thing that's not coming out fully here is we do not know, because we have not seen, and nor has the public know, what the proposition is before the Cabinet. We are told it includes the whole of Moore Park. Now, the whole of Moore Park is not just here, it's all the land to the south. It's the Moore Park Golf Course, it's the ES Marks Reserve, it's portion of the land which in fact is in the boundary line of the AJC Randwick Racecourse, for which we receive about $500,000 a year in revenue from leasing it to that members' organisation as well. That appears to be what is on the table. And yet it is a scandal, and I repeat scandal, that the chairman of the SCG Trust apparently knows precisely what the minister's proposal contains and what Cabinet is considering, considering, because if you read his statement last night on the website of the SCG Trust or the email he sent to people, and neither the custodians of the land, which is the Centennial Park Trust, nor the public is aware of it. You know, does that mean that a former Labor minister is being given information that's not generally available? You can draw no other conclusion from his statement, and I think that is a travesty. Stay very much focused, ladies and gentlemen, on the fact at hand here, and that is not 1 inch of this land, not 1 inch of public parklands should be given to any organisation that has vested interest groups as its constituency. We must fight for that principle and that principle alone. Do not get distracted by all the other peripheral issues that are being thrown there. The chairman of the trust, of course, is an ex-politician, and with due respect to our great colleagues here, they are very skilled in deflecting all of the attention from the issue at hand and attacking the opponent. That is not the issue. The issue is public parklands. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your rally. Keep writing the Premier, keep turning up, keep engaging people, because I can assure you that this trust is committed to the fight. Thank you.